Hello, BookTube. I got back this afternoon from my back-breaking labor at the Christian Science Monitor. If I remember, I'll leave a link to my latest masterpiece down below. And I came back to another gigantic mail haul. You can tell that the publicists are in fall and winter mode because suddenly my mail hauls here are enormous. And this one is chunky. It's got chunky bits of mystery meat in it. So I had an enormous mail haul the other day. It was almost as big as this one, and you know where you open the front door and you have to push the piles of packages out of the way. And I was overjoyed, as always. It's Christmas when that happens to a bookworm. So I dove right into them, started opening them and looking at them and oohing and eyeing about them. And the muscle-bound teenager who was with me said, "Dude, isn't that something you want to do on camera for your lame-ass BookTube friends?" There'll be trouble with the gens. So this time I have remembered, and I thought we'd go through it right away. I won't do all the chunky bits at once. Instead, we'll sort of spice them up here. Okay, so this is January book. It looks like a thriller. The Prometheus Man by Scott Reardon. When a pile of bodies is found in Paris, CIA agent Tom Blake hustles his way onto a major case, tracking a man with enhanced abilities. A test subject in a secret government experiment. There's just one problem. The man using Agent Blake's identity is not Agent Blake. He's Tom Reese, a man without a family or a home. Interesting. Always up for a good thriller. Good way to start. I'll move on to here. I was very enheartened yesterday to get both in the comments field and in emails universal approval on your part for more secondhand book hauls, more Brattle book hauls. That just warms the cockles of my artificial rhesus monkey transplanted heart like you wouldn't believe, because the Brattle is something that I treasure. But in the meantime, we've got all these to go through. So this next one is American Philosophy, a love story. I think I showed you Prometheus. Did I show you Prometheus Man? It's a gap between two building tops, it looks like, and we're just positioned to look up our mystery man's arse. People don't consult me about cover design. John Cagg is a professor of philosophy at the University of Massachusetts Lowell. He is the author of Idealism, Pragmatism, and Feminism, and Thinking Through the Imagination. He lives outside of Boston with his wife and daughter, and he is, I don't know if you make this out, 16 years old. So good for him, getting a book published at that tender age. Isn't that nice? So this comes out in mid-October, and it is Clancy Martin, who's been mentioned a couple of times on this channel before as a noodle-headed moron, has a blurb for the book that constitutes proof solid of that, if ever there was one. His blurb is, John Cagg is the closest thing we have to William James. There's a lot more of it. I won't go through it. It looks like some sort of philosophy book. Then we've got this thing here. What is this? An Unsettling Crime for Samuel Craddock by Terry Shames. This is from 7th Street Books. They do murder mysteries. When the Jarrett Creek Fire Department is called to douse a blaze on the outskirts of town, they discover a grisly scene. 5 black young people have been murdered. Newly elected Chief of Police Samuel Craddock, just back from a stint in the Air Force, finds himself an outsider in an investigation headed by Texas Highway Patrol. He takes an immediate dislike to John Sutherland, a racist trooper. Okay, so this is by Terry Shames, who's done quite a few murder mysteries. And that's good. If she's a practiced hand, this comes out in January. If she's a practiced hand, that settles my imagination just a bit, because of course a murder mystery in which the main character is a tough-as-nails outsider is so cliche there ought to be a law to stop people from writing it. But if she knows what she's doing, then I'm willing to grant her the benefit of the doubt long enough to see if she can pull it off. Let's see here. And, you know, and then at the end, the officers who suspected the new guy kind of have a grudging respect for him. Let's hope not. Oh, good, excellent. This is 2 Hyperion titles, or 2 YA Hyperion titles, both of them for the new year. This is Bone Sparrow by Zana Fralin, and Threads by Amy Polonsky. So, because I'm, yeah, these are both in, okay, all right. The pub sheets say November 1st, 2017. That's a little ambitious. I'm thinking that's a typo. But I wholeheartedly admit that I am investigating the world of YA and looking to see what's out there. Here's a chunky bit. We'll do this one next. A few chunks in here. And I like that, because who knows what they could be. I'll almost certainly finish copies of stuff we've already seen, but you never know. Oh my! Oh goodness gracious! I've never had one of these before. This is Crimson Death by Laurel K. Hamilton. This is an Anita Blake vampire hunter novel. Oh, look at that! Isn't that lovely? Oh my! I've never actually read any Laurel K. Hamilton, and I've never got any. So that's wonderful. This is great. Okay, comes to me completely bare. You Laurel K. Hamilton fans out there, let me know. There's no pub sheet with this. Is it out already? Is it new? Is it coming out? Is it big? It's certainly an ambitious size. I like that. So that was the first chunk. Now we'll move back to an ordinary sized book here. Is this? Oh. Okay. Likewise, the press sheet here says January 3rd, 2016. I think that's a typo as well. This is The Private Lives of the Tudors. Okay, fine. Steve is intrigued. Wow, that's a home run if ever there was one. All right. Then this this one is addressed to Open Letters Monthly, care of Steve Beer. Steve Beer. What is, am I on the third member of the restricted section? Is that what's going on here? Okay, this is The Special Power of Restoring Lost Things by Courtney Elizabeth Mock, who is the author of 2 other novels and lives in New York. This is lovely. It's a lovely design thing. And it comes out in October. Jennifer Bauer has been missing for a year. The police have called again, and they've discovered another dead body, and this time there's good reason to believe it might be Jennifer's. This book explores what happens to a family left behind in a missing persons case and how they manage their grief. Okay, that's very fruitful potential subject matter. The only problem with this book is something we've discussed on this channel before. It is done by Little A, which is the publishing imprint of Amazon, which is thoroughly evil. So, do I help to legitimize them by reviewing a book that's a Little A book, knowing what it will do, or do I somehow contact the author and say, you know, I read your book, I really liked it, please leave the clutches of the devil and go somewhere else so that I can praise it? It's an ethical problem that I haven't been able to solve, so I've done the worst possible thing, which is just to kick the can down the road. I haven't reviewed any Amazon books. I've just sort of let it go. Instead of sitting down, you know, with a banana and thinking about it, just sitting and thinking until the answer becomes clear. One is trained by Jesuits to use one's brain in an ethical way and can't think their way around a problem as simple as this. I think they'd have a right to be upset. I'll figure it out. Here's another chunk. There's another chunker, another wooden box. This is The Earth is Weeping, the epic story of the Indian Wars for the American West. Embossed letters, decal edges, a big, beautiful thing on a very grim and depressing subject. And I think this is out already. If not, it's very soon. No, it's late October. Okay. Excellent. This is Peter Cousins. Wow. All right. Okay, so that was the next chunk. Now we'll move back to an ordinary size package here. Believe it or not, we're still not done. That's how big this thing is. And this is becoming the norm. Shipments this size are becoming the norm. Okay, this also comes out in late October. It's from Yale. I don't recognize it at all, not from their catalog, nor from any advanced word. It's called The Progressive Century. It's an anthology about political reform, constitutional government, and the modern American state. How fascinating. I had no warning this was coming. That's great. I will read it right away. That's right up my alley. As President Obama, who's at the top of the cover, prepares to leave office, we can say goodbye to any hint of progressivism in American politics for quite some time. Then there's this thing. What is this? This is called More. It's a novel by Hakan Günday. Rather pretty thing, isn't it? It was the winner of the Prix Medici Étranger, the best Turkish novel of the year. So is this translated from the Turkish? Yes, it is. This is translated from the Turkish. Imagine a 9-year-old child assisting his father with the family business, the ruthless smuggling of humans. Imagine this child's apprenticeship in profit and survival and unspeakable cruelties that numb him to what it means to be human. Interesting. And who is Hakan Günday when he's at home? He was born in 1976 on the island of Rhodes. He currently lives in Istanbul. He's the best-selling author of 8 novels, which have been published in 19 territories. Has he ever been published in English before? Okay, this comes out in late October. That gives me time to find out. His bio note doesn't actually specify if he's ever been published in English before. That's interesting, though. My. Very nice. A very soft spot in my heart for Turkey. When we next do tedious travel stories, I'll be sure to tell you all about it. All right, what have we got here? This is Harvard University Press. Insanity and Sanctity in Byzantium. The Ambiguity of Religious Experience. Which the rest of you, as sitting there at home, are going in absolute horror at something that could be such a carved block of tedium, and yet Steve's aforementioned artificial rhesus monkey heart is pitter-pattering with excitement. Let's read about it, shall we? In the Roman and Byzantine Near East, the holy fool emerged in Christianity as a way of describing individuals with apparent madness, allowed them to achieve a higher level of spirituality. This book examines how the figure of the mad saint or mystic was used as a means of individual and collective transformation in the period between the birth of Christianity and the rise of Islam. It presents a novel interpretation in revealing the central role that psychology plays in social and historical development. Oh, okay. This comes out last week, so Harvard is a little bit slow at the mark getting it to me, but oh my. We have a front runner for what Steve will read next. Let's move on here. Oh my. Insanity and Sanctity in Byzantium. Not exactly a YA title, is it? We're a little bit far away from poor Lee Bardugo. Alright, it's another one from Harvard University Press. Uh-oh. I smell an olive title. This is Bankrupts and Usurers of Imperial Russia. There's a family being dispossessed on the cover. Debt, Property, and the Law in the Age of Dostoevsky and Tolstoy. This is by Sergei Antonov. Is this translated as well? No translator listed. Sergei must be bilingual. As readers of classic Russian literature will know, the 19th century was a time of pervasive financial anxiety. With incomes erratic and banks inadequate, Russians of all social castes were deeply enmeshed in networks of credit and debt. Oh, very nice. Did this come out yesterday as well? What do we got for a date on this? No, October 10th. All right, good. A little time. This thing's bristling with footnotes. All right, now another chunk. A nice big box. What will this be? Oh my! Oh, very good. This is The Framers' Coup. The Making of the Constitution of the United States by Michael Klarman. Oh, very nice. This is from Oxford. Oh my. Okay. Good. Excellent. This is October 10th. But it also vies for the front of the line. There's nothing I like better than a good Revolutionary War history, especially something that is 800 pages. Oh my, look at that. All right, the chunks are being very good to me. Then the last one's not a chunk, it's just one of these. But these mail hauls are becoming too long. Just imagine getting so many packages in the mail, and an ordinary mail haul is upwards to 20 minutes. That's crazy. Although the rest of you don't seem to mind, so that's wonderful. All right, what have we got here? This is John Preston, A Very English Scandal. Sex, lies, and a murder plot at the heart of the establishment. A behind-the-scenes look at the desperate, scandalous private life of a British MP and champion manipulator, and the history-making trial that exposed his dirty secrets. When Jeremy Thorpe served as Member of Parliament and leader of the Liberal parties in the 1960s and 70s, his bad behaviour went under the radar for years. Police and politicians alike colluded to protect one of their own. In 1970, Thorpe was the most popular and charismatic politician in the country, poised to hold the balance of power in a coalition government. But Jeremy Thorpe was a man with a secret. His homosexual affairs and harassment of past partners, along with his propensity for lying and embezzlement, only escalated as he evaded punishment. Until a dark night on the moor with an ex-lover, a dog, a hired gun, led to the consequences that even his charm and power couldn't help him escape. Oh my. Sounds juicy. Look at all these people. Okay, well, there you go. An epic mail haul with mystery chunks. I'm gonna go sort all this out, but I'll see you soon, Bertu. Thank you.